Hi, I'm going to take you through some things that help me be creative, but the biggest lessons I'd say is to not over intellectualize it, to trust the process, and to do what you find fun. Tools of inspiration. I have a sketchbook that I really like and actually use. I have had so many sketchbooks throughout my life, but I haven't completed a single one because I had all these ideas of what deserved to be in my sketchbook and what wasn't good enough, and I'd tear things out and get so intimidated that I wouldn't even start. But then I got a separate notebook that I had as a dedicated doodle book. So the whole point of the book was just to doodle in it. Doodle, not draw. And I found that super liberating and fun. So when I got this little sketchbook, I took it as an opportunity to start a new doodle book. So like just whatever I feel like drawing. This was on the bus. But then it kind of evolved into being my actual sketchbook. Like I used it to plan out ideas. Here for paintings. Here I painted in it. And this kind of helped break this curse. So now I have a sketchbook that I bring with me and I actually use. One thing I added in this sketchbook that I think is a good tip is a page of good shapes. I gave them all a number and drew down a shape that I like. And then if I want to add a shape to a painting or something, I can just be like, oh yeah, this is a good one. Just generally, I think having a sketchbook that feels like a safe haven, yet nothing sacred, and like a playground for thoughts and ugly things is one of the best things you can do for your creativity. The next thing is my camera roll. I have an album in my camera roll of inspiration. I think it's called Inspo, and then lots of emojis. And basically I will take a photo of anything that I find inspiring and put it in that album. And then whenever I feel like drawing or painting, I can revisit that album and get inspired. I also have an album full of pictures of statues that I've come across out and about, because I think statues are a good reference when you want to draw poses and figures. And instead of having to like scroll through lots of photos on Pinterest or anything, you have a designated folder of poses already. And statues are good because you can add your own colors. A lot of the times they're nude, so you can add the clothes as well. Art books are of course another great tool for inspiration. Look at a lot of art of different kinds and mediums, eras, and artists. It'll help. Next is reading non-art books. Reflecting on stories and learning of lots of different experiences. History also inspires me a lot, especially ancient visual culture, like what shapes and colors and beliefs were expressed and how, and also why. Next, the creative approach. I am a big believer in create, then rationalize, because I like to lead with what feels right, and that pertains to color, composition, subject matter. I create first, as unfiltered as I can, and then rationalize and analyze what decisions I made and what changes to make based on those conclusions. I make something and then I think, as if decoding a dream, contextualizing the creations of your subconscious mind now that you're awake. Why does this particular subject matter feel like it makes sense to me? Maybe it's reminiscent of something I've been reading about or learning about or seeing a lot of or noticing as of late in myself. Why these colors? Maybe they're reflective of my emotional state at the time. Unknowingly imitating or lifting very heavily from an inspiration source of mine, etc., etc. It's almost a bit like psychoanalyzing yourself, and it's fun. But I don't analyze so critically. I just take notice of the decisions I made and what led to them. And I make changes to my original ideas, but I stick to what feels right. I think you should, as I should, create very intuitively. I'm speaking in terms of visual art right now, but it's the same process that applies to when I'm writing poetry or writing songs. This is what helps me be creative, feel creative, and want to keep being creative. Be curious, experiment, try things out just for the sake of trying them out, even if you think they won't work, because maybe you find a solution along the way that guides you in a completely different path than you originally expected, but turns out to be really good. You never know. I feel like I spent so long creating but not being creative, And it really, really boils down to not over intellectualizing creating. Like, don't get in your head about it, just do it. I took a gap year where I was like, okay, I'm gonna have so much time now to make art and build up a really good art portfolio. But I felt like my time was precious and I didn't want to waste it on something that wouldn't become great. I didn't want to make art, I wanted to make masterpieces. And then the pressure just mounts and mounts and mounts, so much so that you don't even want to get started out of the fear that it won't be any good at all. It was only when I started studying something completely different, not art, that I first felt in my free time that I wanted to create art. Not masterpieces, but actually just art. With no expectations, no goal, no ulterior motive, just as an outlet. So I think that even if you want to reach great heights, the core reason of why you're doing whatever you're doing should be on the personal level. Creativity flows down here. Ego is what soars high. I don't know how much of this made sense or how preachy this was, but this is just what I think. That's all. Bye-bye. By the way, I made these bracelets.